Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. It's Scooby-Doo Tuesday, guys. You know what that means? Of course it means we're here continuing the journey of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. This is Season 2, Episode 18, Dance of the Undead. That's an interesting title. So, last week's episode, another crazy title, The Horrible Herd, which was a bunch of skull cattle, but they weren't just skull cattle, like, ghost or whatever. Well, ghost, but we've seen actually some stuff in this show that's, non-explainable, like certain things or whatever, like that friar or whatever, telling the story of what really happened to Crystal Cove and all that kind of stuff, and all the different disc pieces, and it was just the whole thing. But the skull cattle, the horrible herd, were also part B, which I accidentally guessed ahead of time, and it was also, I think, piranha DNA or something else in the mix, and of course Professor Pericles is the one behind it. And even though, Brad and Julie, aka Fred's actual parents, are kind of just oblivious to a lot of things, they really don't care, Mr. E is actually like, you're spending way too much of my money from Destroyed, my company, and all this other kind of stuff to fulfill your, search and everything and your hunt for the Crystal Cove, this treasure or whatever, this Nibiru and all this kind of stuff. Professor Pericles doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. Now, at the end of the episode, unfortunately, they do succeed in stopping the horrible herd, but they're actually sent into the ocean where they actually can start to spread out and go to other locations. They had to slowly back away, like they had no involvement at all, right? But on top of that as well, unfortunately, as well, is that Scooby's little girlfriend, I forget her name, but it was Brad and Julie's dog, she got hurt. She fell out of the helicopter. It was really, really bad. She's still alive. They had to get her to the hospital or whatever, so that's good. Right, but it doesn't end on a positive note, per se. Because also Crystal Cove was, I don't know how destroyed it was, but literally the horrible herd, as they were called, were destroying just building after building after building, block after block of Crystal Cove. So I'm not sure how much is left standing at this point, but I guess we'll find out. So let's dive into it now, guys. Episode 18 of Season 2 of Mystery Incorporated. We're slowly getting through the show. I believe, if my math is correct, which, by the way, math was my worst subject in high school. I just didn't really give a shit. I'm thinking we're going to be wrapping the show up in August. I think that based on how many episodes, because we have 26 total, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's September. Anyways, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the show, but it's been a fun journey so far, and I do appreciate you guys for supporting the videos. I really do. Let's dive in. Episode 18. Let's go.
Chrissy here with your music news report.
Oh, hello.
I'm standing on the very spot where one-hit wonders Rude Boy and the Scott-tastics totally ate it 30 years ago.
Cursed to plummet to their doom on that fateful night, the night that Scar died.
Does every bit of scary news have to be followed up by an immediate let's go investigate?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of a band named Rude Boy and the Scott-tastics?
Heard of them? You're kidding me. I have every record they ever released right here in the store. Poor Rude Boy could never quite ride the fame train the way he wanted. So it's said that he turned to voodoo magic.
Doesn't anybody ever stay dead around here?
That is a good question. Doesn't anybody ever stay dead?
I would tell you how I love you and we'd never be apart.
Yeah, I figured. Oh, the curse or whatever, yeah. Dots!
I haven't seen this many ambulances since that time Scooby thought he had the mange.
Stay with us, Scoop.
I'll catch up with you guys later.
Oh, yeah, he's a woman.
Going.
Where he goes every day, 5 times a day.
I'm here, right by your side.
He really
forever.
cares for her.
Of course, sometimes you'll have to get treats.
To the ICU.
Please don't play.
Please don't use that.
Sorry.
If we can't find a cure within 24 hours, they will dance themselves into a permanent cataleptic state.
Why don't we come back tomorrow? After
During the day. Or never.
Those poor dancing people.
The haunted crypt.
During daylight.
So it's Mr. Ian Hall.
Oh.
Rude Boy's old manager.
He's standing right
Behind you. Oh, now they have bikes? Yeah, they ain't ghosts.
You just got IT'd.
Yep.
Improvised trap.
I'm pretty sure these guys fake their deaths. I'm pretty sure.
I can't look.
Like me too.
You're driving.
Rude Rude Boy has come back from the grave. He's bringing Scar back to life.
Yeah, by turning people into dancing zombies.
The dancing plague of 1518 struck Strasbourg, France, where hundreds of people danced themselves to near fatal exhaustion.
Oh no. Scooby didn't cover his ears.
I can't resist it.
Oh no.
Caribbean Mento and...
You're our only hope. It's up to
Really?
you to save the town. It's up to you to save us.
Hex Girls!
Really? Really? Okay.
Are you sure this is a good idea?
He's like, what the hell?
Hex Girls.
Hex Girls.
There they are.
Oh.
From taking over the world. What's with the original get-ups?
Some of our fans prefer our classic costumes, and chic is rich, super rich. We're the Hex Girls. Magic-infused rock is how we roll.
Can we wear our war paint? Can we? Can we? Can we?
Yeah.
Sure.
Pain. Great.
We stick together. You're dead right, mates. Dead right, mates.
Dead right. Oh, people are falling over. Nice. Okay.
Listen up, this won't take long. Bring it, boys. We're the bad girls.
Catchy.
We're the bad girls.
Oh, go back. Okay. Okay.
You're dead right, mates. You're dead right, mates.
They're switching back and forth. Oh. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. It's like a green Scooby.
You can stop now?
Actually,
Rude boy?
They fake their deaths.
We fight the whole blooming thing.
I figured.
Oh, I've
Why'd they wait 30 years, though,
always
to come back?
And be super rich. We decided we'd fake our own deaths.
Okay.
We planned to be only gone 1 year, but writing the perfect song took blooming forever.
Desperate for success, Rude Boy and the Scott-tastics unleashed
Yes.
a dancing plague on the
Yes.
world.
so, when are
Well,
we
they're hanging
all
out with
going
him.
out
That's
to-
cool.
We're not.
Oh. What? What? Okay.
That helmet you've got on, where did you get it?
Oh, it'd be a weird thing, don't you know? I
What?
traded it with a grotesque-looking young scallywag named of Handsome Jimmy.
Segundo Llave. We've got it. This is the second key.
Nova?
What?
Nibiru. Nibiru is coming.
What? What? We all saw that, right? Like, she just spoke. She said, Nibiru is coming, and then fell back on the... What? So that just happened. And I was thinking, okay, so what's going to happen here? Because we're not seeing scenes for no reason in this show. Now, a lot of shows do this. If they're showing you something, there's a reason behind it. Mostly. There are times when shows show scenes that really don't matter. It's just to fill time. But with Mystery Incorporated, I've learned this show does not show anything without a reason, right? For story purposes or for a reveal, or it's going to matter later. In this case, she spoke. She spoke. Nibiru is coming. She flatlined at first. And... What? What does this mean? What does this mean? Okay. I'm really confused in that part, but I mean, okay. I'm guessing that's teeing up for something later. I mean, I'm hoping, because she just fucking spoke, right? Anyways, so the rest of the episode, besides all that, because like, what the fuck? Because they're leading it up because she was in the hospital. He was going to check on her and bring her Scooby snacks, flowers, all that kind of stuff. Very nice. He really cares for her. And then that happened at the end. But the rest of the episode, in terms of the storyline, in terms of the ska band or whatever, were they a ska band anyways? Rude Boy and whatever, like this band that perished, died in a plane crash 30 years ago. Which, by the way, they opened the episode with an interview with the manager that didn't go on the plane, and they never explained exactly. I had a weird laundry incident, that's why I wasn't on the plane. I don't believe that at all. And then of course there's these ghosts that come and drag them under and everything, and of course they end up finding everybody, so it's fine. They find the vocalist of that band, and they find the interviewer. They found the manager first, or whatever, or the former manager of the band, and I was like, okay, so it's an undead band, which makes sense in terms of Dance of the Undead or whatever the title was. So it makes sense in terms of like the title and kind of what's referring to. But it turns out this band was popular for a bit, for one song, and that's it. They had one album, and that was it. And people just stopped caring. So that apparently there was all these things. Okay, well they were trying to put curses on other bands and everything, and apparently his band ended up being cursed. Well, actually not the case at all, because they actually planned the crash of the plane. They didn't actually perish 30 years ago or whatever. Which I kind of figured that they weren't actually really dead, because I'm thinking, unless it's like these super fans, which would be kind of logical in terms of what the show has kind of covered in the past in terms of storylines, that maybe it's these obsessive fans that wanted to bring the band back in a sense, and so they were playing their music, you know, that was popular 30 years ago, the one song and all that, to kind of get people to love and cherish this band or whatever. Because we kind of seen that with like that obsessive fan of that author who was like a version of H.P. Lovecraft, right, within the show, where he was really obsessed with like the characters he created or whatever, and just the author in general, what the worlds or the things he came up with. So it would make sense maybe they go the route of, okay, it's these obsessive fans, but not the case at all. It's actually those guys. We're really going to take a year off after our death and come back, but we never cracked the song. And when we finally did crack the perfect song or whatever, it was too late. I'm like, well, maybe change genres. Maybe. That's just an idea, just a thought. What was probably the best part of the episode, besides the ending that I'm still like trying to rack my brain, what the fuck does that mean? Like, why did she wake up and speak? Anyways, the best part of the episode, besides that ending moment, was the Hex Girls. They were not in it much, but they were in the episode, and it was awesome to see them, because it's been a bit since I've seen them last, and it was funny how they were in their original getup from when we first, I think it was the first time we got introduced to them in that one film of Scooby-Doo. I believe that's when they were first introduced in the Scooby-Doo lore, but they were in those outfits again. They even address it. I didn't even think about it first until they mentioned, like, oh my god, they are, like, oh my god. But they were performing a song, and then Scooby and Shaggy in this like weird getup. I'm like, okay, whatever. He looks at that one guard, Scooby. He pulls the plug and all of it, and whatever. Shaggy's still screaming about zombies and stuff. Everyone's like, the fuck's going on? And they come back to help, and they have like this voodoo kind of war paint on to play the music. And then you see like the forces where the Undead band is playing their music, and you see like like it's taking over the whole town. They're all dancing and stuff. And it's funny how Scooby and Shaggy are the only ones who could save the day, because Scooby it's all noise to him. And I think that's kind of correct. I think in real life is that dogs can't really deter, or like they can't hear the difference between music and everything. Like, it's not like it doesn't hit them like it does for us. Maybe that's incorrect because we don't technically know, or maybe there's been some study, I don't know. But and then in Shaggy's like, well, I'm tone deaf. So it doesn't really hit him. So I guess he really isn't a music fan, I guess, per se. Or at least not in the sense of what you traditionally would think of as a music fan. But they got the Hex Girls and everything, and their song was really, really interesting, too. It was catchy. I will admit, though, the Undead band song was catchy. I'll admit. But it was this weird transition back and forth between their both songs. And then, of course, Shaggy and Scooby had to help out at the end of the day and play guitar, which, of course, wasn't animated right. And the drumming for the Hex Girls wasn't right as well, because there's times where the beat is, this simple pattern, cymbal, snare, cymbal, snare, and then of course kick drum down here, but cymbal, snare, hi-hat, dun 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 dun. But she's like playing stuff in the back that just doesn't, it's not syncing right at all. I've seen those videos people have done from time to time where they like look at animated drums and show what they're actually playing because it's showing a different animation than what's actually being played sound wise, but that was funny. But besides that, it was interesting to see the back and forth, and then like the energy going back and forth, and they're like in the middle, like they're hitting or whatever. Shaggy and Scooby helping, and then the green like ghost type Scooby or whatever coming through. That was cool. So overall, it was an interesting episode. The ending, of course, I kind of suspected, so wasn't really surprised. And also too, they didn't like see my whole thinking up to a certain point of like maybe this is obsessive fans. They would have already introduced them, I would have thought, at a certain point to then do the reveal, because that's what happens a lot with Mystery Incorporated, is that you get introduced to the character that ends up being the monster of the week. I say a lot villain of the week, but really it's the monster of the week or whatever in a lot of the cases. So I was like, okay, well, they haven't introduced anybody that we could turn to as a suspect, so I'm assuming it's actually the guys themselves, because we've been seeing quite a bit of these guys on their record and images and stuff, and they're talking about them a lot, so it has to be those guys, and they just faked their death, and that's exactly what they did. So Hex Girls, cool to see them back. Nibiru is coming from Nova, right? Scooby's little love. She spoke. Don't know what this means for the future of the show, like what's next after this. But it's also cool too where the Hex Girls were hanging out with him, by the way, in Shaggy's room. I think it was Shaggy's room, and they saw like the notes of like the music to then the coordinates of the helmet, right? That was kind of cool. And the fact is, if the Hex Girls were not there, if timing wise, if the Hex Girls were not there to look at the, because I didn't even know at first the disc piece was even out, that the Planispheric disc was even out for them to look at, because I thought they were protecting that thing. And I'm assuming, since it's been in hiding and they can't find it, is Shaggy and Scooby are the ones who hid it somewhere. I'm guessing in the room. I'm guessing in the fridge. That's my guess, since that's where they were hiding disc pieces before at one point. But I'm guessing that's what the case is. But if it wasn't for the Hex Girls being there to stop this undead band, they would not have been able to figure out the new coordinates because of the actual musical notes. And also, too, Velma made a point to say that the actual disc itself has changed. That wasn't there before. Now it is. Don't know if that means that it's because of certain things they've done that the Planispheric disc is now shifted or changed because of things that have happened. I have no idea. Don't know how the thing works. So maybe that's the thinking behind it. I have no idea. So overall, this was a really good episode, a really fun episode. It was good. I think the Hex Girls really helped elevate the episode overall. And of course, the very ending, Nibiru, it's like, holy shit, okay. So she can speak apparently. Or maybe they're going to explain, it's just this one time she said it because of something. I don't fucking know. I don't know, because this show is just... It's such a different show, as we know. It's such a very different show than Scooby-Doo shows up to this point. It's just a very different type of Scooby-Doo show. I'm not complaining, that's just how it is. So you just never know what to expect next, because there's not been any previous things that have occurred within previous Scooby-Doo movies, in a sense, or shows that are doing what this show is doing right now. In terms of certain storylines, certain things they pulled off, which may be breaking the show at times. It is what it is. So, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know, but I'm excited as hell. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. I'm curious to know what you guys thought about the episode. Let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.